What's up, Billy? How you doing, brother?
I'm all
How you
right.
feeling?
Alive. Barely.
Let me just make sure that this is...
Those aren't affected by that.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, welcome to attempt number 2, Rolling with the Homies podcast. We attempted this last week. One of the mics was off, so redid it again. Another 10-minute round and another conversation with our boy, Billy, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Hello. My name is Billy Conn. I like to party.
Very good introduction. What's funny is you don't, though.
True. Very true. There was a time.
Yeah.
Now my partying is this.
This is a party. It's a party. It's a fun party.
Yeah. Definitely get fucked up more than when I was drinking.
Feel it afterwards just as much.
Oh, yeah. Probably more so.
Yeah. So I know one of the questions that I really liked your answer to last time was, what do you think Jiu-Jitsu has changed in your life, or like how has Jiu-Jitsu affected you since you began a couple years back?
Yeah, for sure. It honestly has changed my entire life. So to break it down into like a few categories, like health-wise, across the board, I played varsity sports in high school, had D1 scholarships. I was in the military, in the Marine Corps. I've always been super athletic, very active, and I'm in better shape now at 33 than I have been my entire life.
Yeah.
Because with jiu-jitsu, like, it's just such an authentic thing that you can't really get away with cheating if you really want to progress and be able to train at a high level for an extended period of time. So I have to eat good, I have to sleep good, I have to do active recovery. I can't lift unconsciously where it's going to jeopardize my injuries or training. And so I'm very intentional with how I live my life now. I have to make sure I'm hydrated, and I spend so much time and money on being healthy and having the proper supplementation and the proper nutrition and the proper recovery so that I can spend more time on the mats. So physically wise, that's kind of how it's helped me.
Yeah.
Mentally wise, it's really helped me with, for one, I feel like as men, a lot of the times we get in our head a lot and we're thinking about so many different things. Mm-hmm. And when you do jiu-jitsu, it's such a high intensity and high focus thing that you can't focus on anything else. You know, when you have me in a head and arm and I can barely fucking breathe, I can't think about, what my girlfriend's doing or why she didn't text me back or, why this happened. I'm just fuck, I need to get out of this.
Yeah.
So it really helps you be present and in the moment, and also learn emotional regulation, which is something I feel very few men actually even understand, more or less know what it is.
100%.
Most men, you say emotional regulation, and they're like, what the fuck is that? Some term you made up? And, it's when one of your friends, has their elbow in your throat or their, knee on your chest and you can't breathe, you can't freak out on them and, punch them or get mad. You have to be calm and say, okay, this sucks, but I have to learn how to think out of this.
Yeah.
I have to learn how to, calm down and do something that's actually going to help me and not just, gas me out and, freak out. So that's a huge one.
Yeah.
And then breath work as well. Learning how to regulate your breath and use your breath intentionally to either increase your heart rate or decrease your heart rate or calm yourself down. These are all very impactful things in jiu-jitsu that carry over to the everyday world as well.
Absolutely.
If you're at work and your boss pisses you off, you can't just Hulk out on them, and knowing how to use parasympathetic breathing techniques can help you in situations like that. So that's another reason that it's really impacted my life in a positive way. And then another thing that I really never expected from it was the community and the friendship behind jiu-jitsu. I kind of just got back into it because when I was in Hawaii tattooing, I started boxing again, and it made me really want to get back into combat sports.
Yeah.
And one of my friends trains at Paul Nava's gym, and so I went to their promotion ceremony there and met John Cabay, and I was like, all right, this seems like something that'd be really cool to get back into, because I did train jiu-jitsu for a month when I was in high school, which would have been rad if I stuck with it because I'd been training for like 20 years
Right.
now.
Yeah.
But, you know, neither here nor there. But I'm really glad I did get back into it because all of these people have become like some of my closest friends and like my family now. And, you know, it's so contradictory to what most people believe because I've had so many people say they don't want to get their sons or their daughters into combat sports because they don't want them to be bullies and they don't want them to be violent people. But something that is really counterintuitive to that is that when you actually learn how to have violence and to control it, you learn how unnecessary it really is in most situations.
Absolutely.
And you learn how you can talk your way out of things and you don't need to be reactive. Most of the time when people get in fights in the real world, it's because they're insecure and they feel like they have something to prove. And, you know, it's someone calls them dumb and it's like, why would you fight somebody over calling you dumb? It's like, it's such a ludicrous thing to think, but an insecure man or woman, you know, they're going to take those things to heart because in their heart, they really don't have any confidence and they don't have a good, you know, self-esteem.
Absolutely.
But when you train combat sports, you know you have the capability to fuck up 99% of people in the real world. And it's easier just to be like, hey man, you know, you'll probably beat my ass, like I'm just gonna walk away.
Yeah.
Because you know in your mind it doesn't really matter. And it's better than actually having to involve yourself in conflict in the real world. So I think those are like the main things. And it's just like, you know, having like some of these dudes at jiu-jitsu, like including yourself and like a few other guys, like you're the type of people I know I could call at 3 a.m. when I'm on the road and you guys would show up and question. And so like that's something that's really awesome too. And I feel like a lot of men don't have that in their lives.
Yeah.
So it's such a good platform to kind of make those connections.
Yeah, you really do get a 3 a.m. crew from jiu-jitsu for sure. Like you meet a lot of, like, I mean, me and you met through jiu-jitsu and now you're basically my brother, you know? And a couple things you said that really stuck out to me was one about, you know, being capable of violence. I think Jordan Peterson says something along the lines of there's no virtue in being a weak, non-violent, you know, not being capable of violence and then being a good person.
Yeah.
Because you're not actually being a good person. You have no choice.
Exactly.
But being capable of great violence and choosing to not, you know, not be aggressive, not be, you know, the person starting fights is actually virtuous because you're capable of it, but you're choosing consciously to not. And so I thought that was, and I probably destroyed that quote, but
it was really close. I think the quote is like, if you're not capable of great violence, you're not peaceful, you're harmless.
yeah, that's I think that's like Seneca or something. But
Yeah, I think that, yes, one of, you know, Marcus
Yeah.
Aurelius or one of those guys.
one
you
of
know.
those guys. It's probably in a book.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. And then also, you know, you mentioned how jiu-jitsu had, well, obviously community. Community is huge. I mean, that's what we try to build through Brotherhood Built as well. A community of men who are able to call on each other, build their 3 a.m. crew, make connections, build things like that. So that's something for, you know, Phoenix locals who are hearing this. Check us out. We're on Instagram, Brotherhood Built. So, you know, right now it's growing, crew of like-minded guys. We're getting ready to go to a surf park next month. You want to speak on kind of your experience so far with Brotherhood Build and kind of like that community aspect, just to tie into the community piece you spoke on?
Yeah, definitely. So I have started and been a part of a few men's groups over the years, and all of them have been lacking. Not to say they didn't have purpose or they weren't good, they just didn't fit for me. Because I think, for me, I grew up, my dad committed suicide when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And so I grew up with a mom and 3 sisters, and everything about being a man, I had to teach myself. And so I got lucky, and I grew up to be a pretty level-headed person. I had my challenges, but the big thing about that is that a lot of these men's groups, I feel like they're a little too focused on connecting men with the feminine. And I think that's where we have a surplus right now in the world, or at least in America. And connecting men with being masculine and what that actually means, and being a protector, being a provider, being someone that can be a pillar of your community is something that is really lost out in a lot of those groups. I feel like a lot of those groups is a bunch of people that kind of get around and they get around and whine to each other, but there's no action. It's just kind of complaining, which I understand. Like, you know, if you have things that you're going through, it's good to voice those. But if you just voice those and don't take action, you're just kind of wasting time.
Yes.
And so what I really love about Brotherhood Build is that it's a group of a bunch of men that come together and we move through some type of physical movement or fitness that I think is really beautiful, and that in itself helps everyone connect. And once we do whatever activity we do, like everyone's kind of has like their guard down, and they already feel connected to people. So if we do sit and have a conversation, it's a lot more like a group of friends that already know each other, and it allows people to open up. And what I really love as well is that when people bring up struggles that they're going through or something like that, like people aren't just like, oh, I'm sorry, man, that really sucks. Like everyone there is super supportive, and they're like, hey, man, like, you know, like I love you and I care about you. And if you do need help, like I'm here to support you. Like, let me know if there's anything I can do to help you get through that.
Yeah, and we've had guys who have helped each other, like, with actual tangible things at this point, like, who have been able to connect each other to new places of work or, you know, other physical activities that people can do together. So that's been really an awesome aspect of it, has been just like you said, it's not just people whining, but also, like, we do have space for people to express what they're going through.
100%.
And it's not that being masculine means not expressing your feelings or things that you're going through. It just means that there's also an action piece, like you had mentioned. So.
And I would say, like, counterintuitively of that, being vulnerable and expressing that you are weak or that you need help is one of the most masculine things you do. Like, because that is like the best kind of analogy I came up with. It's like if you put a bulletproof vest on and you give one of your best friends a gun and say, okay, like, you know, I'm going to trust you not to shoot me. It doesn't matter if they shoot you because you have protection on. But if you give them a loaded gun, cock it, and say, hey, Ben, I trust you with my life, you are allowing them to hurt you, but you trust them. And that's kind of what that vulnerability is. Like, that's what takes true courage, is putting your mental life and your vulnerabilities in the hands of other people and saying, hey, I can't get through this on my own. I need help, and I trust you guys to not judge me and to help me get through this. And I think that's what's so important about Brotherhood Build. Like, that's what it is. And, you know, it's people saying, hey, I have reached something that I can't do alone, and I need help.
Yeah.
And it's being there for our brothers and able to help them through those things and support them, even if it's just, you know, them knowing that somebody cares about them.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah. But yeah, we got to call this so we can get into your next 10-minute round.
All right.
But yeah, this has been great. Like I said, you want to plug anything?
Yeah, so I do men's self-development. So I do work with like substance abuse, emotional regulation, PTSD and trauma. My Instagram is Peaceful Savage Coaching. So if that's something that you're struggling with and you could use help with, like, feel free to reach out and I can help you guys out with that. And then, like we said, Brotherhood Built is our men's group, and it's at no charge unless we, like, you know, have an event that we have to pay, like the surf park.
Yeah.
But we would love to have everyone. It's an all-inclusive thing. You know, we have no judgment.
Come on, come all.
Exactly. All we ask is that you guys stay confidential within the group and don't bring judgment to the group.
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, I love you. Appreciate you being on.
What? Yeah.
Okay.
All right, what's up, Billy?
What up?
Solid roll.
Yeah, that was fun.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Yeah, your butterfly is advancing and getting more and more technical and harder to defend. That's good, man.
Thank you. I mean, your pressure makes it damn near impossible to sweep, and I'm always worried about my arms and where they're at, and you're able to maintain that bottom, or I guess kind of top arm when I'm on my right side.
Yeah.
It's just really good.
Thank you.
So, I mean, we talked a little bit about this before, but I want to hear, I guess, your influence with Jiu-Jitsu. Who do you look to for inspiration? And maybe not even just Jiu-Jitsu, but the mindset that goes into Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, you know, it's given me a little bit of time to think since last time, which is cool, because like I still primarily feel that way. Like, I've never been much of like a a famous idol type of person.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate the dudes that have like paved the way for us in jiu-jitsu and that are like at the top of the game. Like, you know, hats off to them. They're awesome.
Sure.
But for me, I would rather look up to people that are tangible to me, that are in my real life. So,
Yeah.
you know, my coaches like Vinny and Steve and Kabe and Mateus and like Brendan. These dudes have all really helped me a lot, and they have like been like a brother to me as well, like not just in jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
But if I would have to pick anyone, I'm sure I'm gonna fucking butcher his name. It's like Majid or Majid.
Majid, Gorilla Hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love the way that dude rolls. Like, it just looks effortless. And he came to our academy, one of like the most like humble, coolest guys ever. Was so much fun to roll with.
Yeah.
And like he really embodies the concept of like flowing with jiu-jitsu and not forcing things. Like the way he moves is like surfing, you know, and that's his big thing.
Yeah.
It's like very fluid, and he just like goes with things and rolls with it. And like, dude, he'll get me in like baseball chokes when I have his back.
Yeah.
It's just like amazing things like that. It's so cool the way he does jiu-jitsu. And then Greg Saunders, I really like what he's doing, implementing the CLA, which is constraint-led approach into jiu-jitsu. And I think it's a very impactful way of training.
Sure.
And really helps us understand things that we're told a little better than just being told. Like, you know, when you know, you get into jiu-jitsu, everyone says, you know, keep the elbows tight and stuff like that. But you don't really understand it until you get into a position where, you know, for example, they say, okay, cool, like, you know, you're going to play guard and you have to keep your elbows locked to your body. You can't only, and, you know, it lets you understand how impactful that is, because, like, even not using your arms, it's pretty hard to get submitted.
Right.
And so that kind of training, I think, is really impactful, because as humans, like, we're all really stupid and stubborn for some reason. And, like, we can't just learn from people telling us. We have to experience it.
Totally.
And I think that way of training is a really, really effective way of doing those type of things.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree. I mean, like, to your point of like gorilla hands, be like water, you know, like you said, like the famous Bruce Lee quote. I always think about that, you know, flow with, you know, become the shape of whatever situation you're in. You know, if you're in a bottle, you're the shape of the bottle. But the idea is flowing, like you said. It's really fascinating to think about that. And, you know, lately I've been thinking about music and jazz, and the other night I was thinking about wanting to think about jazz while I'm rolling. Like, either put it on when we're rolling, or listen to it before I go into roll, and like have that mindset, because it's so organic, and that's the way jiu-jitsu is. No roll is ever going to be exactly the same as the last. So finding ways to work through that.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. And dude, I love Bruce Lee so much, because the thing that most people don't know about Bruce Lee is he was more of a thinker than he was of a martial artist.
Sure.
His daughter wrote a book, and it talks a lot about Bruce Lee in that aspect of him as an intellectual and as a thinker. And, you know, he very much embodied that as his lifestyle.
Sure.
And I really love that too in jiu-jitsu, because I feel like a lot of times in jiu-jitsu we have things we're good at and we have things we're going to do, and that's what we try to do, and it fails a lot of the times, especially when you start rolling with people that you've rolled with continuously, because they know what you're going to do. And so being very reactive is like so important to jiu-jitsu, and learning how to make people do something so that you can react to that.
Sure.
Which I think is so impactful, because if you're just reacting, that person's going to have a little bit of a one-up on you. But if you can get them to do something so that you can react to the reaction, it puts you back in control. And I think that's something that's like a really, really effective, but really challenging to do in jiu-jitsu.
Totally. Yeah, I found that things started to click for me probably like a year and a half ago or so, when I wanted to do a particular sweep or move or whatever, and if I go for that, it's obvious. But feigning it something else, or, you know, baiting something else to allow that opportunity to come up, has been a big piece of that. So like you said, like, you have to make your opponent react to what you want them to do to play your game.
Yeah, I think that really works good.
Yeah. How has jiu-jitsu changed your life? So you've been doing it for about 3 years, close to 3 years?
No, just 2.
2 years, okay.
Yeah. It honestly has kind of changed everything, because For a while, like my entire life revolved around jiu-jitsu. Like I was making sure that like my work schedule, my relationships, they all revolved around me being able to go to the 10 a.m. class, which I loved, but I had to have like a reality check. And it's like, I'm not going to be a professional athlete in jiu-jitsu. Like, I'm in my mid-30s, and I have like so many other things I'm focusing on with like Brotherhood Built, the men's group, and getting into like trauma therapy and stuff like that. So I had to be more realistic and say, okay, well, I can go to a 6 a.m. class or a 6 p.m. class, and it's like I'm still not missing jiu-jitsu.
Right.
But like, I can work full-time and go to school and, not just like struggle paycheck to paycheck just so that I can train as much as possible.
Yeah.
So it really helped me with those type of things. And, I kind of talked to Steve about that in the other one. But, everything, like I eat better, I sleep better, I'm more intentional with what I do. I try to stay active, do proper things to recover, do the proper nutrition. And it just kind of, like I said, like across the board, it's just made me be very mindful and intentional with how I live my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you mentioned before talking about Bruce Lee and being more of a thinker, or at least as much of a thinker as he is a martial artist. So taking that idea and saying, okay, well, I can balance my time with jiu-jitsu. I can still think about it. I can, go over video of your matches or watching videos to learn a particular move, and it helps to cement that in your brain as a part of it, which maybe you don't get as many training hours specifically, but a lot of people don't realize how much extra time off the mats thinking about whatever it is that we learned to cement that in your brain helps so much.
Yeah, I agree. I think I still feel like doing things in person are like paramount. You can only think so much, but I do believe that like taking the time to understand things and dissect them, and even watching people do jiu-jitsu, like I think outside of rolling, watching other people roll that are way higher level than me is what I really, really gain a lot from, because I see the way they do things, and it's like it's hard to see when I'm rolling with them. But like when I watch them do things, it's like these little tiny things that I'm like, oh, like their body was shifted that way, or they were doing this, and it really helps me like add that last puzzle piece to a certain sequence or something that I've been like struggling with. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I the tiny movements, those nuanced movements, like you're saying, shifting your hips or something like that, it changes quite a bit when you see high level people doing it. So I agree.
Oh yeah.
Well, cool, man. I mean, what's your goals in terms of jiu-jitsu?
Honestly, like I really don't have too many goals when it comes to jiu-jitsu. Like obviously, I would like to get a black belt like 1 year, but that's just continued training. It'll happen, so it's not really like a goal of mine.
Right.
I think if I have any goal in jiu-jitsu, it would be to coach one day. Because like everything I do in life, like I've always been drawn to being like a leader or like a mentor or a teacher, and I really, really love helping people, and just like it's really beautiful to see people that are having challenges or adversity and kind of like walking beside them with those things and offering them some advice and aid, and then watching them overcome those things and grow. And I really enjoy that process, so I really like to see that in jiu-jitsu. So I think my only goal really is to really dial in my jiu-jitsu and coaching as well, because I think those are two separate things that a lot of people don't understand. You can be an expert at something and be a shit coach at it.
Yeah.
Because it takes a whole different thing to teach people how to do something than to be good at it.
Sure.
So like over the next couple of years, I've already started reading books and doing seminars and stuff like that about coaching in general and how to teach people how to learn and how to adapt to different styles of learning, because everyone's not the same.
Yeah.
So I'd say in jiu-jitsu, those are kind of my main goals, to dial my own self in and then dial in what I need to be an effective coach.
Sure. That makes me think of something, it's similar styles, but like they're kind of opposites in how you approach it, where there's the there you are kind of approach to coaching or mentoring versus here I am. Some people, and I'll explain that a little bit. So there you are is like when you have your mentee and you're going to them and saying, hey, there you are, here's what you can do differently, here's how I can change this, here's what we can do to affect whatever you're doing, versus here I am. Some people, they take better to the approach of, hey, I'm here whenever you need me to, reach out when you need to, and kind of a balance. And I'm sure there's differences of that time when they need it one way more than the other. But it's something interesting I like to think about.
Yeah, I agree with that, because like coaching is very much ebb and flow, like, because everyone learns differently, and people learn differently within themselves as well.
Sure.
And so it's adapting to that and understanding. And I think like the number one takeaway from being a coach is the mindset of like, I am here for the students, not they are here for me.
Right.
And I think that's a huge thing, is learning that like the process of a coach is not to inflate your own ego, but it's you are of service to those students because you want to see them grow and you want to be a part of that growth.
Yeah.
Not something to just say like, look how good I'm doing.
Yeah. And that's the mindset that I would say every good coach has, is being a servant to their students.
I believe so.
So I agree. Well, and you're living that too with your, like you mentioned a minute ago, Brotherhood Built. Walking side by side, going through hard things. We talked a little bit about this before, but it's hard for people to open up a lot of times when you just go and speak to them, especially men.
Yes.
But when you struggle through something together, it makes it a lot easier. You've gone through something together. It allows you to be more vulnerable because you've shown your masculine side where you're saying, I can do this with you. Now I can trust you with my words to be open with my emotions, whatever it may be.
100%. And I think it's just like, it's like jiu-jitsu. Like, you have to be authentic because like the mats, like you can't lie on the mats.
Yeah.
Like everything comes out. And it's the same way. Like when you get in front of a group of men that really don't know you and have no connection, and you kind of tell them how to do this and how to do that, so they're like, all right, like who the fuck are you? Like, why should I listen to you?
Yeah.
But when you do something with them and you get down in the dirt with them and you suffer with them and you work with them, there's that connection of like, we are the same. And that's a big concept that I try to bring to Brotherhood Built, is that we are all equals. Like obviously Steve, Marius, and Ivan, like, and myself, we facilitate, but nobody is better than anybody else in that group. We are all equals. We all can have something to say. We can all bring something to it, and we all have ideas. And I think that's something that's really powerful, is it's going from like the teacher, the student role into we're all students together, and we're going to get through this, and I'm going to suffer just like you so that you know that I actually know what you're going through.
Yeah, leading by example. It seems like there's a trend towards that. Maybe it's just me being more aware of it, but it seems like there's more of a trend towards authenticity, not leading by authority, but by example. Authority is not something that is just given, it's earned. Even if it's a position where it is given, so to speak, you have to show that you earn it. Otherwise, people are never going to listen, they're never going to follow. It's going to be a short-term thing.
I agree.
So,
and like a great example of that, so I was in the Marine Corps, and in the Marine Corps, there's many people who lead by fear, because fear is effective. And like, to be honest, like in combat situations, like you kind of need that there. Because you don't want to have someone question you when you're in a firefight saying, well, why am I supposed to go here? Like, you just want them to instantly obey orders. So a lot of people lead by fear. But my most effective, like, seniors and mentors and higher-ups that I had in the military, they led by example, and they led by building a relationship with us. Like, I remember I messed up when I was doing something a couple times, and instead of coming over and, like, beating my ass or, like, yelling at me, my senior came over and he kind of kicked some dirt on my foot, and he's like, man, I'm really disappointed in you. And that hurt me more than anything else, because he was somebody that I looked up to, and I valued his opinion and the things that he had to say to me, and that made me work so much harder than if someone came and just did something like out of violence to me. And I think that's such an impactful thing, is when you live and embody the mentality that you have, so that the people under you can see, like, this is who this dude is. He doesn't just tell me to do this, he does it as well. And I want to be able to be like him too. Like, be an inspiration to the people that you lead, not be like a dictator in fear, and they will go to the ends of the earth for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. Well, I think that's a good point to lead us off on, Billy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Thanks
You're
for
the
having
man.
me.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, dude.
I'll see you soon.
Hell yeah.